Nala was the firstborn child of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the apple of her parents' eyes. From the moment she entered the world, they doted on her. Everything she did was a reason to smile. She was their pride, their little princess. She had their attention, their love, their hopes for the future. It felt like she could do no wrong in their eyes. But that early happiness was short-lived. A year after Nala was born, her younger brother, Nathan, came into the picture. Then came Dora, and soon after, Carl. Suddenly, Nala wasn't the center of attention anymore. She became the second in command, tasked with looking after her younger siblings. The carefree days of being her parents' focus faded away, replaced by chores, responsibilities, and the pressure of being the good older sister. At first, she didn't mind. She loved her siblings, but the demands on her grew. If something went wrong at home, Nala was always blamed. "You're the oldest," her parents would say. "You should know better." The small accidents, the little mistakes always seemed to land on her shoulders. It wasn't fair, but she didn't know how to speak up or protest. She was just the girl who always tried to do the right thing, but somehow never quite measured up. Daddy was hardly ever home. When he was, he only shouted at her more. His words were sharp, his disappointment heavy. Nala longed for his approval, but it seems just out of reach. Her mother was busy too, overwhelmed by the demands of raising 4 children. Nala felt invisible. Instead of being nurtured, she became the one responsible for her siblings, babysitting, helping with chores, and trying to be the good daughter. Her parents, though loving, were often too busy, and when they were around, they criticized her more than anything else. The love that had been given so freely to her now felt distant, and Nala started to internalize the idea that she was never good enough. In high school, Nala struggled to find her place. The same old story continued. She was the quiet, shy girl who always tried her best, but often found herself in the background. Throughout Nala's high school years, while her family had become a source of disappointment and neglect, there was one person who always saw her for who she truly was: her best friend Maya. Maya and Nala met in 7th grade when they were assigned as partners for a group project. Maya had an energy that was impossible to ignore. She was outgoing, confident, and unapologetically herself. She had a way of making Nala feel like she belonged, like she was important. Even in the midst of family chaos and loneliness, Maya was there, always offering a listening ear and words of comfort. Maya was everything Nala wasn't: confident, outspoken, and always at the center of attention. She was the kind of person who knew how to charm a room. She could make friends wherever she went. Maya noticed Nala though, and they quickly became best friends. To Nala, Maya was everything: a confidant, someone who understood her in a way no one else did. Together, they spent long afternoons studying, sharing secrets, and dreaming about the future.
"You are so much stronger than you think, Nala."
Maya would say when Nala confided in her about the arguments at home or the times she felt invisible. But as the time passed, Nala began to feel something that had always been missing in her life: attention. Maya was popular, admired by everyone around her. Nala, on the other hand, wanted to be like Maya, outgoing, carefree, and loved by all. She began to find herself living in Maya's shadow, trying to keep up with her energy and her boldness, but always failing. like she wasn't quite enough. One day, during a composition class, Nala's teacher asked each student to share something special about their fathers. It was a simple assignment, but for Nala, it was a punch to the gut. She listened to her classmates like Judith in comfort talk about how their dads took them out on weekends, bought them toys, and made them feel special. When it was her turn, Nala froze. She had nothing to say. She had no special memories with her dad. Her eyes welled with tears as she stammered. My dad works hard. But she couldn't finish the sentence. The truth was, she didn't know how to express the emptiness she felt inside. Her dad was distant and her mom was too busy to fill that gap. The whole class looked at her and she felt a deep sense of shame. But then, Maya, her best friend, leaned over and whispered,
"You will figure it out. We are in this together."
Maya and Nala shared the same dreams about the future. They put hope to attend the same college, a place far away from the life they knew, a place where they could reinvent themselves. Nala, though knew her chances weren't as strong, she wasn't the outgoing, perfect student that everyone seemed to admire. Still, she wished with all her heart that she could be with Maya in college, together. And so she prayed every night and did her best for the chance to go to the same school as Maya. To Nala's amazement, when the acceptance letters came, both she and Maya received offers to the same college. Nala couldn't believe it. Her prayers had been answered. She hugged Maya tightly. Their dream of a new beginning was about to come true. College was a fresh start, a world away from the shadows of her childhood. Nala finally felt like she could breathe, like she could finally become the person she had always longed to be. And it didn't take long for someone to notice her. His name was Liam. He was confident, outgoing, and everything Nala had never been. They met one afternoon in the campus cafe, and it felt like fate. Liam noticed her sitting alone, buried in a book, and decided to sit down across from her.
"Hey, I couldn't help but notice you. Wow, you're really beautiful."
Nala froze. Beautiful? She had never heard those words directed at her. Not in the way Liam said them. At home, her parents never said it. They never looked at her with admiration, only with frustration. And the few times she had looked in the mirror, she barely recognized the girl staring back. Too unsure, too hidden. But Liam's words made her feel something she hadn't felt in years. She didn't know what it was at that time, but that single compliment would begin to unravel her. Her heart soared. In Liam's eyes, she was something special. Maya was thrilled for her. She encouraged Nala to pursue the relationship, to let Liam in. After all, Nala had never experienced real affection before, and Maya wanted her to feel the love she deserved.
"You deserve this, Nala. Liam's a great guy. He will see what a catch you are. You just have to give him a chance."
Nala trusted Maya implicitly. After all, Maya had never let her down before. She had always been the one to pick Nala up when she felt low, the one to tell her that she was worth loving, worth having. For the first time in her life, Nala felt seen. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make her heart race. From then on, Liam was always around. He would message her between classes, call her on the phone, and sometimes surprise her with small gifts. It felt like she was living in a dream, where she was finally the center of someone's world. The attention he gave her was everything she had longed for, and she clung to it, believing that this was what love felt like. But somewhere in the back of her mind, Nala started to feel uneasy. Liam's affection came with conditions. It wasn't just love, it was love on his terms. He started to notice the small things: how she dressed, how she spoke, how she behaved.
Why do you always wear that? You know I don't like it.
He would say when she wore a particular shirt.
Can't you just stop being so sensitive? It's not a big deal.
He would complain when she tried to express how something made her feel. At first, she tried to brush it off, thinking maybe it was her fault. She wanted to be the perfect girlfriend, to be everything he wanted. Because if she was, then maybe he would never leave. But as time passed, the criticisms became sharper, the complaints were frequent. And then Nala made the worst mistake of them all. She began to forgive him over and over for things she shouldn't have. Every time he would cheat on her with another girl, she found herself apologizing to him, telling him she was sorry for being too much. His excuses became more elaborate, and Nala, desperate for the love he promised, forgave him each time.
You are just too clingy. You are not as good as the others. You're lucky I'm even with you.
He would say, after he had kissed another girl. And Nala would sit there, broken, but still begging for his attention. It wasn't love, it was manipulation. But Nala couldn't see it at first. She thought if she loved him harder, gave him everything, maybe, just maybe, he would love her the way she needed to be loved. But with every "I'm sorry, it won't happen again," the cycle repeated. The more she forgave him, the more he took her for granted. He saw how deeply she needed him to validate her, and so he used that to control her. As weeks passed, something began to change about Maya. Nala couldn't put her finger on it at first, but Maya was spending more time with Liam, offering to help him with his studies, hanging out with him at parties. It seemed harmless enough at first, but then, one night, Nala came back to Maya's dorm room, only to find Maya and Liam together in a way that shattered her world. Nala had been out with friends, and when she returned, she heard laughter from Maya's room. She pushed the door open, thinking it was just a casual hangout. But what she saw left her frozen in shock. Maya and Liam were lying on the bed together, laughing, their faces too close, the warmth in their eyes unmistakable. Nala stood in the doorway, her breath caught in her throat. Maya? Liam? She didn't know if she could speak. She couldn't process what she was seeing. Maya and Liam pulled away from each other quickly, but the damage had already been done. Maya's face was flushed, and Liam looked uncomfortable, but not guilty. It was like the betrayal was an afterthought to him. Maya stood up from the bed, looking guilty, but with a hint of defensiveness.
Nala, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. It just happened.
Maya said, trying to make sense of the situation. But it wasn't enough. Nala could barely look at her. How long, Maya? Her voice was barely above a whisper. Maya hesitated, and Nala knew the answer before Maya said it.
I never meant to hurt you, Nala, please. I was drunk. I didn't think...
You never meant to hurt me? Nala's voice broke. You slept with Liam, my boyfriend, and you never meant to hurt me? Maya's eyes were filled with shame now, but Nala could see the truth in them. Maya wasn't sorry for what she had done. She was sorry she had gotten caught. You've been encouraging me to be friends with him for months, and now you're telling me you were drunk? You let this happen. You chose this. Maya took a step towards Nala, But Nala couldn't even look at her anymore. The betrayal stung too deep. "I trusted you, Maya," she whispered. "You were my best friend. And you stabbed me in the back." Maya stood there silent as Nala's words sank in. But the worst part was what Maya said next.
You were always too much, Nala. You always wanted more from people, wanted them to love you, but you know what? You're never going to get it. Not from Liam, not from anyone. You're nothing. You never had anyone who really cared about you. It's the truth, Nala. You're so wrapped up in wanting to be loved by everyone, but no one's ever going to love you the way you want them to. You will always be left alone in the end.
The words hit Nala like a punch to the gut. She stumbled back, shaking her head. "Maya, how could you say that? After everything we've been through?" Maya's face remained cold. With those words, Nala's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Maya, the one person she thought would always have her back, had just reminded her of the very thing she feared most, that she was unlovable, that she wasn't enough. Nala left the room without a word. She had to get away. She didn't know where to go, what to do, but she knew she couldn't stay there, not with the weight of what Maya had just said, hanging over her like a dark cloud. In the days that followed, Nala was consumed by the pain of betrayal. She couldn't believe that Maya, her best friend, had done this to her. She couldn't believe that Liam, the boy she thought she loved and loved her, had been so easily seduced by her best friend. She felt small, worthless, and utterly alone. The worst part wasn't even the physical betrayal. It was the emotional toll it took. Maya's words echoed in Nala's mind every day.
You're nothing.
That became the voice in her head, telling her that she was unworthy of love, that she would always be abandoned. She couldn't stop hearing them. They were louder than her own thoughts. The pain made Nala retreat into herself. She became quieter, more withdrawn. She distanced herself from everyone, including Liam, who tried to apologize but could never truly explain away what he had done. The worst part was that Nala didn't know how to heal from this. She did not know how to let go of the idea that maybe Maya and Liam were right. Maybe she wasn't worthy of love. Maybe she would always be alone. Nala sat quietly in her dorm room, her phone screen glowing in the dim light. She scrolled aimlessly through posts and social media, each one reminding her of what she didn't have. Friends sharing smiles with their boyfriends, couples enjoying sunsets together. The weight of loneliness pressed on her chest, a familiar ache she couldn't escape. It had been months since she had been betrayed by Liam, the boy she thought she would grow old with, and Maya, her best friend. Her heart still felt fractured, like a puzzle with pieces that didn't quite fit together. She stared at the latest message from Liam, the one she'd already read 1,000 times. He hadn't reached out in weeks, but it still stung when she saw his name. Her eyes lingered over another post from a friend, smiling at a picture with her boyfriend. Nala felt a wave of sadness wash over her. Then, something caught her eye. A video title, "The Journey of Self-Discovery, Finding Your True Self After Heartbreak." Nala hesitated for a moment. She wasn't sure she was ready for something so deep, but she clicked on it anyway. The video opened with a calm, soothing voice.
Sometimes we lose ourselves in the people around us. We define our worth by how others treat us, how they make us feel. But true healing comes when we stop looking outside for validation and start looking within. It is only when you reconnect with your own heart that you can truly heal and discover who you were always meant to be. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the love you didn't receive. You are not the heartbreak you've endured. You are a whole person, worthy of love, worthy of peace. And it starts with you. It starts with accepting yourself just as you are, embracing your flaws, your strengths, and your potential. You don't need anyone else's permission to love yourself. You are enough. You are worthy. Your journey to self-love begins the moment you choose to believe it.
The words hit Nala like a soft yet powerful wave. She paused the video for a moment, overwhelmed by the truth of it. She'd spent so much time trying to please others, trying to earn love from Liam, from Maya, from anyone who would offer her validation. She realized in that moment that she had lost herself along the way. Tears filled Nala's eyes. She didn't know it yet, but this was the moment that would mark the beginning of her healing. The words were exactly what she needed to hear, but also what she had been too afraid to believe for so long. The video ended with a simple message: you're worthy. Your journey to self-love begins the moment you choose to believe it. Nala closed her laptop and sat in silence for a few minutes. She let the tears fall, not from sadness, but from the release of something she had been holding in for so long. For the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope, like she had the power to change her own narrative. The next morning, Nala woke up with a quiet resolve. She was tired of letting the past define her. She wasn't going to wait for someone else to validate her anymore. She was going to learn to love herself. The next week, Nala began to notice the familiar pull towards old habits. She found herself scrolling through Liam's social media, waiting for a message that would never come. She almost reached out to Maya, despite everything that had happened, hoping to mend things, hoping to get back to what they had been. But Nala remembered the video. She had promised herself that she would take control. She wasn't going to let herself be defined by these relationships anymore. So, she made a decision. She blocked Liam on all platforms. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. She needed to stop looking for validation from someone who had never truly seen her worth. The next step was more difficult. She reached out to Maya, not with anger, but with clarity. I cannot continue to be friends with you, Maya. I can't keep giving pieces of myself to people who do not respect me. I have been hurt enough. Maya's silence was deafening. But Nala stood firm. This was for her own well-being, and for the first time, she was choosing herself. As the days passed, Nala began to feel the weight of her own decision to let go. But she didn't let herself stay stuck. She began to explore things that had always made her happy. Weeks passed, and Nala's transformation became more visible. She was no longer the girl who needed validation. She was the girl who had found her voice, who had set boundaries, who had chosen to love herself.